Hello, dear friends. Hello, dear FISU student ambassadors. Whether you are here live or you're watching this at the recording, today we have another meeting for the FISU student ambassadors, the May educational session. And this session, the topic of this session was requested by the FISU student ambassadors in the midterms and in the feedback forms. It's a very new topic for us. It's a very interesting one. Let me just check if I see in the audience our first guest with the welcome words. And if not, we go with the first speaker. Let me just check. All right, we're having our guest a bit later. And let me introduce our first speaker. Today, we want to share the best practices of the nutrition from two different regions. And the first speaker is Alexandre Perez from Portugal. He's the nutritionist of the social services of the University of Algarve from Portugal. Alexandre, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Albina. First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to present the best practices at the University of Algarve. Shall I start sharing my screen? Yes. I would like in advance to say sorry if my English is not the best or if you don't understand something. Please feel free to stop me if you need me to say something again. Is the presentation in full screen mode right now? So what I bring today to you is the nutrition and sports in higher education, the insights from my university, the University of Algarve. We will be speaking about the current nutrition challenges. Then we will be moving on to the eating challenges of higher education students. Then for the dietary adequacy strategies for higher education students. And finally, I will be showing you the insights from the University of Algarve in Portugal. So for the current nutrition challenges, the impact on nutrition on human health and quality of life occurs from the very moment of conception until the old age. The mother's diet influences the child's health, but it is also crucial for health and on young adults and for healthier aging. A healthy diet promotes better nutrition, better child and maternal and health stronger immune systems, lower risk of non-communicable diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and for promoting longevity and better quality of life. Nutrition must meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in a multidimensional approach to food security. We must guarantee that the food security of all the populations to reduce and prevent food insecurity. Food security basically means that all people always have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meet their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy lifestyle. And the lack of these resources to meet any of this is called food insecurity. This is very prevalent in developing countries. Food insecurity can be defined as lack of regular access to safe and nutritious food, and it is most prevalent in developing countries, but also very present in most disadvantaged populations of our industrialized countries. And this arises either from low energy and not sufficient protein and micronutrient consumption, from an unbalanced consumption of fats and sugars, as is in the case of ultra-processed foods products. For example, every fast food chain that we have available today at very competitive prices. Now, moving on and focusing on the European reality and on data on food consumption. In Europe, the European Union livestock sector exceeds our dietary needs and has huge environmental implications. Europe's seafood consumption has an environmental and social impacts worldwide. More than a third of global fish stocks are exploited beyond sustainable levels, but the growing importance of aquaculture also brings sustainability challenges at sea and on land. The European Union wastes tens of millions of tons of food every year. Up to 40% of all food produced worldwide is never eaten. Globally, 931 million tons of food is thrown away by us, the consumers, retailers, and food service every single year. This wasted food is responsible for 8 to 10% of global greenhouse emissions. At the European Union level, the best estimates indicate that some of the 88 million tons of food is wasted annually. Excessive food consumption combined with poor eating habits represents a very high risk factor that contributes to the loss of healthy years life and the medium and in long term to the reduction of life expectancy of future generations. The industrialization of food production and distribution, the increase of household income and rapid urbanization and the ease of access to processed and ultra-processed foods have led to change in our dietary patterns of populations worldwide. Currently, people have easier access to foods with higher energy density and lower nutritional value, high in fats, free and added sugars, and large amounts of salts. The World Health Organization recommends for the daily consumption of at least 400 grams of fruits and vegetables and at least 25 grams of fiber. And these numbers are not met by a large part of the world population, leading to nutrition inadequacy in all age groups. It is very essential to counterattack inadequate eating habits and sedentary lifestyles. So the nutritionist, which is what I am, plays a very extreme role in relevance in developing countries that functions regarding the nutritional adequacy of food and the diet, quality and safety, aiming at the promotion of health and well-being and the prevention of treatment of the diseases. Moving on to the eating challenges of higher education students. The entry into higher education can be a challenge for almost every student, particularly in those displaced from their regions of origin. I can give you a point of view from my university. We are in the south, but we have a lot of students from the middle of the country, from the center and from the north. So they will be very far from their home in a new environment. The need to make the purchase of foods and to prepare meals combined with class schedules, study, and often combined with the lack of culinary skills can lead to the change of their eating habits and routines, and often it is not for the better. It has been verified that the students of higher education and have high consumption of foods with high energy density and alcohol, and also low intake of fruits and vegetables and water, alongside with very sedentary lifestyles. These behaviors can compromise their academic performance and promote the development of chronic diseases in the long term. This seems to be a very high risk period for weight gain, which can lead to aggravated when students move from their hometown. This decrease in weight may be related to inadequate eating habits and decreased physical activity, as said before. Also, the occurrence of eating disorders can occur due to social pressure and stress that the higher education period proposes. Stress can contribute to many of the emotional and physical symptoms felt in these populations, such as fatigue and anxiety, and can decrease their effectiveness, productivity, and academic performance. The university population is also prone to variations in workload, alternating between periods of intense works and periods of greater rest and marked social interaction, promoting higher intake in alcohol and eventually meals with worse nutrition quality. Moving to the dietary adequacy strategies for higher education students. The World Health Organization argues that higher education institutions should have strategies and infrastructures that promote health in academic communities. The promotion of the adoption of healthy lifestyles, namely a healthy eating pattern and a regular practice of physical activity, is very important, and the university plays a very important role here, either through the promotion of a healthy environment and the provision of health services, or through nutritional and adequate food supply. The education system, in addition to the central role in teaching, must also promote health and nutritional literacy, but mainly to ensure favorable environments for the adoption of healthy eating and lifestyle habits. The implementation of these eating strategies can involve promoting healthy eating habits, for example, through increasing literacy and providing nutritionally adequate meals through balanced menu plannings in accordance with the currently available recommendations. These meals must be provided to the entire academic community, and one way is to ensure that the meals are in every canteen and they are planned and served at lower prices, facilitating access even to the neediest individuals. Now showing you what we do at the University of Algarve. We have the social services of the university here, and basically it says that the the legal regime of higher education institutions in Portugal defines that the state must ensure the existence of a school social action system that favors access to higher education. And this is for the economically needy students. This includes access to food at reduced prices in canteens and bars, and also accommodations such as the provision of university residencies, as well as activities in the area of sports, culture, and clinical support. It is in these ways that our social services at the University of Algarve fits in. Showing you the food sector and what we do here. We currently have three social canteens, 6 bars, 2 restaurants, grills, and 1 general restaurant with various types of food. The main objective of the canteens at the social action services in my university is to provide healthy menus through planning by qualified professional, preferably a nutritionist, which is me, who is responsible. And these menus must be healthy, safe, and nutritionally balanced, as well as sustainable. Our canteens ensure then the food security that we spoke before, with lunch and dinner being provided every single day from Monday to Friday and also Friday only at lunch. On Saturday, with takeaways also being an option at reduced prices. The 3 canteens that we have are distributed across every campus that we have. We currently have 3 campi, Gambela, Espanha, and Portimão. All of them have these canteens, and they are always open except on Christmas periods and the month of August. And we usually guarantee at least 80% of the academic community's meals through lunch and dinner. This right here that you see is an example of the composition in the meals at University of Algarve, and it is made by the vegetable soup, the main course, various vegetables that I will show you in the next picture, because this is a pie, so it's everything is mixed. We also have the salad, the fruit, and the water. This is an example of the menus that we show to the academic community. Every meal is described as the soup, the meat, the fish, the vegan dish, and the dessert. So we have meat, fish, and vegetarian dishes, and actually the vegetarian is 100% vegan every single day. So no animal is present in vegan, and these dishes are sold every day. Poultry meat is in at least 50% of meals in meat-based dishes, so less fatty meat. Fatty fish, which is also important, is always present at least once to twice a week in the menu. Vegetables are always present, and they are preferably in season and local. We also control the amount of salt and fried food present. Some students they like fried food, and sometimes we have some reclamations. They want fried food, but we usually try not to add much to comply with the food safety. Our menus are available to the students so that they are aware of the meals, and here you can see the nutritional value on the side of every meal, so they are very well aware of what they are eating, and we also have the allergens labels. All of this is just for €3.45, which includes every part of the meal that you see in this picture, including the vegetables, the salad, the soup, the water, the bread. This ensures that food security goes up and food insecurity goes down, because it's not too expensive, and they would probably not spend that much more money at home, or less money, to eat such a balanced meal with everything included. This is to show the vegetables tray. So we have a special tray with only vegetables that they can ask to be added to the main meal to have even more vegetables available in their diets. And on the right here, you see 100% vegan option. These meals also comply with local and seasonal products. This is to minimize the environmental impact, and this is the vision of our university. They are based on the Mediterranean diet and fish and vegan options. They are always planned, or we always try to plan them to avoid food waste, and any leftovers that are eventually left are donated to other social canteens to needy people. We also have an ongoing project. It's the Med Diet Menus for Campus. This is a project it is an international research and intervention initiative, and this aims to promote healthier and more sustainable eating habits in various universities through the principles of Mediterranean diet. The project is being currently developed in Portugal, Croatia, and Turkey, and it has reached the end. Our university took a role by providing menus with Mediterranean dishes with the Med Diets Ready icon, and we will be still implementing these dishes from now on. The main goal is to improve the university canteen menus by making them more aligned with the Mediterranean dishes and the food pattern, while also encouraging students and staff to adopt healthier food choices. At the University of Algarve, we also provide individual nutrition counseling and consultations for every person that is a part of the academic body and who desire to have one. And this is even more so for the price of just €1. So it is very low, so we can ensure that everybody can participate in these consultations. We also put up regular posters and important information and hand out flyers regarding nutrition and its benefits. We also have workshops happening in the university. In these pictures is a workshop that happened 2 months ago, where we invited people to our kitchen to cook with us some healthy snacks. We also have the Cuidad program, which is an initiative that developed by the Portuguese Institute for Sports and Youth, and this promotes the youth health and lifestyles of people aged between 12 and 30 years old. This program usually provides free and confidential support in several areas, including mental health, emotional well-being, nutrition, and healthy eating and physical activity. This program happens every year at the University of Algarve, together with the Sports Association and the Social Services. Moving on a little bit from nutrition to sports, we have sports promotion at the University of Algarve. Our university promotes physical activity through our Faz Desporto Walk, which means Do Sports Walk, which encourages students and staff to adopt healthier and more active lifestyles. Our slogan is stay active, stay healthy, and stay happy. And our university is also part of FADO, Portugal University Sports Federation, where a lot of students participate in many sports. This program includes university sports competition, group fitness classes, recreational sports, outdoor activities, partnerships and wellness events, student athletes sport support programs, walking events, active breaks, and many other events that I cannot remember right now. For the international recognition for health promotion, the University of Algarve also earned the highest platinum certification from the FISU Healthy Campus. This certification recognizes universities that promote physical activity, nutrition, mental health, disease prevention, sustainability, and healthy lifestyles. Our university fulfilled 94 out of 100 in evaluation and criteria in these areas, being awarded with the platinum seal from FISU. We also had an audit that recognized that the university has developed and comprehensive multidisciplinary healthy campus strategies aligned with innovation, sustainability, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. One of our strongest points that was identified was the institutional integration of healthy campus concept into the university's strategic planning and governance structure. Our university also created the Healthy Campus Working Group and later established the Sustainable and Healthy Council, responsible for coordinating all the initiatives related to health, sustainability, well-being across the campus community, such as physical activity, sports, nutrition, mental health, sustainability, and environmental responsibility. With this, I think I showed you pretty much what our university has been doing to promote healthier lifestyles, especially in the nutrition department, which is what I am responsible for. If you have any questions, then I will be available to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alexander. It was a very good presentation, and being the part of the Healthy Campus team and the auditor, I'm really jealous of the students that study at your university because they have many possibilities in terms of nutrition. So, dear participants, if you have any questions, please raise your hands or write them in the chat. And let me ask you a question. Like you said, you provide nutrition counseling. Is it popular among students? And how many inquiries do you have regularly on that?
I am the first nutritionist in social action services. So before this was a service provided by the interns. So we didn't have many people participating. Usually it was about 20 to 30 a year. Since I joined, I've been more regular, so I've been able to provide more consultations. So right now we have been able to do 200 a year. It's not the such a high number that I would like to see, because if we compare this with psychology consultations, they are doing over 2,000 a year. So you can see, so nutrition is still trying to catch up, but it's compared to what we were doing before, it's a big increase from 20 to 200. And this year is showing signs that we will be doing more than 200.
Well, it's a big number for a university if they have this opportunity. And what are like the most asked questions when they come? Are they more athletes or just regular students? And what kind of questions they come with to these nutrition counseling sessions?
It's usually regular students with various types that they want to go to do in nutrition. We don't have many athletes joining in because they have their own support on other nutritionists, but the service is also available to them. Even if you come from the outside of the university, if you compete in our university in any sports event, we also open up these consultations for them if they desire to.
Okay. Last question from me. What are the most famous or like the most liked menus from the students? What do they choose?
They always choose one very Portuguese dish, which is called bacalhau com natas, which is codfish. It's a very popular fish in Portugal. It's basically fish mixed with chips and a heavy cream, all mixed, goes to the oven, and it's very good. Of course, it's not very healthy balance, but sometimes we also provide this type of meals. Today, we actually had a meal that they like very much, which is turkey. It's like a fried turkey saute with also chips. So everything that has chips and is fried, they always love this. But we usually put more healthy, balanced meals. They also like, but it's not wow for them.
Well, I very much like the pictures, and I had chance to check the best practices of Healthy Campus, the book, and
Mhm.
we saw it is a very well recognized university in terms of Healthy Campus for sure. We have a question from the audience from Vladimir. He asks, "How are you calculating calories per dish? Estimate them from product labels, weigh them before giving to customers, or do you have a different approach?"
In Portugal, we have a book that has all the a medium calculation of every food that we have here, and then we have all the calculations done by that book, and we just have to apply that to the university. So, for example, it says that all dishes, for example, the meat dish has 130 grams of meat. Then the meat that we are using is turkey, so that turkey usually across every dish has the same number of calories, the same number of protein, etc., and then we calculate through that.
All right, thank you. And we have another question. What if the athlete is vegetarian? What do you recommend them to eat?
Vegetarian is a tough topic here, because it is also very important that sometimes we also have vegetarian patterns. So not we don't have always to eat meat. We can have a perfectly balanced diet with being vegetarian. We have the legumes, for example, beans, lentils. They are very rich in protein. We also have tofu, seitan, and those meat-like things that also add protein. And if you add that to your meal with also rice or other carbohydrate, you have a balanced meal. The only issue here is the vitamin B12 that may be decreased in some vegetarians and may be prone to be supplemented. But a vegetarian person, unless you are not 100% vegan, you can also add eggs, milk, and dairy to your diet, which also is very high in good proteins.
All Right, thank you. And there is a question from Gambia, from Ebrima Fadera, asking, saying that this is a great initiative. My question is, how can you introduce such a nutrition programs in the universities of Gambia? I think we can share the best practices book of Healthy Campus, right? So the second question is, what impact has the program had on the lives of students since you started the program? So how do you estimate like the progress?
Before I joined as a nutritionist in my university, the menus were not very balanced. So we have been working through that. So at least people who always eat at our university are mostly having healthy, balanced diets. So I can tell you that we are assuring a healthy, balanced diet, at least on the main meals, lunch and dinner. And the various events, I can tell you this year for the workshop that I did, they very much liked it, and they are using those healthy snacks on their daily lives. We also promote a lot of healthy lifestyle in university through posters. So we are always giving them information, and we always have good feedback from them that they want more from this. So it's what we have to be doing more and more.
Thank you. And there were a lot of questions. Let me ask the last one. And to ask this question, it's your colleague from Sri Lanka, Akila, the next speaker, with his question. So you know each other as colleagues. Akila?
Sorry?
Yes, I hope you can see me, but I'm extremely sorry if my camera gets switched off. I don't know the technical issue. Hi, Alexander. Thank you for that presentation. I just wanted to ask, like, you are providing these meals for, I mean, it's comparatively low cost, right? 3.45 euros something. So how exactly this financial management happen? Do you get some assistance from the university or some other donors, or you can actually manage with that cost providing such high quality nutritious meal to all students?
So this is a public-owned organization. Our university, or most universities in Portugal, are public, and the state funds part of us, the social services, so that we can acquire this type of products. But we also have autonomy in like financial autonomy. We use our own money. We have other stuff that we do that also earns us money. So as I showed you in one slide, we don't have also the canteens. We also have the bars and the restaurants, and the bars do have lower prices, but the restaurants that are not the canteens, we don't practice very social prices there. So those are for our other types of food. They are more for teachers and events, and people pay a higher price there, and that's from where the most money comes from, so that we can use for the canteens. But we get a lot of money from the state and also from our residencies and other stuff from other events.
Yeah, okay. If I may add just one thing from one of experience from Sri Lanka, one medical school in Sri Lanka, like not my university, but another university has their own garden. They grow with the support of students, volunteers, and other volunteers, and they get that harvest to the medical school's canteen to make meals. So it's like a sustainable thing for them. So they can provide meals at a low price to the students. So they have their own community garden grown by at the medical school as well. Yeah,
That's very interesting. Yes.
Thank you so much, Alexander, and thank you so much, Akila. Alexander, you can stay till the rest. So there are so many questions asked. If you have other things to do, you can leave. So we thank you very much. A big round of applause to our first speaker. And we have, it's now will be the welcome words from the FISU Vice President. Ms. Penina Kabenga. She's also the Secretary General of the Federation of Africa University Sports Federation. Let me spotlight Penina for everyone. We are very happy that you are able to join us. Penina, can you hear us? Can you see us?
Yes, I can see you. I can hear you. Thank you, Alibina. Thanks, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really a great pleasure and honor to join you to today's session. I'm joining you from the airport at Lagos. I'm on my way for the 3-on-3 qualifying championship, which is going to take place in Ibadan. I'm happy that I've made it. It's a great pleasure that I'm here, and I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Albina. I want to thank the speakers. I want to thank the student ambassador for joining today. First of all, allow me to commend FISU for the continuously creating opportunities that empower young leaders through education. This session is one of those opportunities. Through education, sport, and intercultural exchange. The Students Ambassadors Program demonstrates that universal sport is not only about competition, but also about leadership, learning, personal development, and global friendship. To all the student ambassadors present today, sorry, I'd like you to know that FISU believes in you, values your contributions, sorry, and committed to supporting your growth as future leaders for sports and society. Sorry, apologies for that. You are the ambassadors, not only for FISU, but also for the values of respect, excellence, healthy living, and unity. Today's topic on nutrition for students and student athletes is extremely important, and I've been privileged to listen to our colleagues from who has well elaborated. I want to thank the speaker for that. As you all know, nutrition is one of the foundations of academic performance, athletic success, mental well-being, and the overall health. As student athletes, balancing studies, training, competition, and personal life requires discipline and health lifestyle. As someone who has been involved in university sports as an athlete, as a coach, and a sports administrator, I have personally witnessed how university sports transforms lives and prepares young people for leadership beyond the field of play. Allow me to share two inspiring examples from Uganda that demonstrates the power of university sports and students' leadership. For your information, I'm from Uganda. Recently, one of our FISU student ambassador, she's now called Honorable Dr. Bakisa Masifei. She was a student leader in FISU at the National University Sports Federation. Also, she was at the FISU Students Committee. Recently, that was like 2 days ago, she was appointed as a Minister of Youth and Children Affairs in Uganda. Her journey from student leadership and university sports into national leadership reflects the true spirit of motto, the true spirit of the motto. Today's stars, tomorrow's leaders. We also have another inspiring example. It's called Judith Nalukwago. She's been at the FISU Games, she's been at FISU Games, she's been at the National Games, and a student leader as well. She's now the Secretary for Social Affairs at the Kampala City Council Authority. She works with the Mayor of Kampala. Her journey shows how participation in student activities and leadership platforms equips young people with confidence, responsibility, and the ability to serve society. These examples remind us that this Student Ambassadors Program is not simply a short-term activity. It is a platform that shapes future leaders, policymakers, administrators, and change makers. I therefore encourage all of you to actively participate in today's session, learn from the experts, ask questions, and share experiences from your countries and institutions. The diversity represented in this program is one of the greatest strengths. As you continue your journey as student FISU ambassadors, Remember that every action you take can inspire another student. Use your voice, your knowledge, and your leadership to promote health lifestyle, inclusion, and positive values of universal sports within your community. Thank you once again for this invitation. I wish all of you success and engaging session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Penina. Thank you even for being at the airport. Anywhere, you always support the FISU Student Ambassadors Program. Even if you didn't mention Mercy Lakisa, I would do that for sure, because it's big news for the FISU Student Ambassadors community, knowing that our alumni now becomes the State Minister of Uganda, a very great step for her and for the federation and for FASU. She was representing. We had a chance to meet in presence, so we know each other, and this is fantastic. She so well deserves it. And you, Penina, you always are here for the FISU Student Ambassadors. Being a mentor this year again at the FISU Springboard program, your mentee Priscilla is also in the audience. Priscilla from Ghana. So I hope you soon meet and work together as mentor and a mentee. Thank you so much. And now I give the floor to the next speaker, Akila Nilavira from Sri Lanka. And we will hear the story of the nutrition and how it works and all the tips on it. Akila, the floor is yours. I will spotlight you and you share your screen. Please introduce
thank
yourself.
Thank you very much. Okay, Tadya, thank you very much. Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Can you see the screen now?
No.
Okay, give me a second. Wait. It doesn't allow me actually.
Please try again, Akila, because you are in the mode of presenter. Yep. So, yes.
Can you see now? Can you see it now? I think I shared my screen.
Please correct me, but I'm not seeing it. I only see the white screen. Please correct if anyone. I think it's being loaded now.
Okay. I hope. I think it's the first title slide.
Not yet. Put the presentation mode.
Yeah, I have put to the presentation mode.
It's not being fully loaded for me. Please correct me in chat if you see the same.
Yeah, if anyone else,
we can see the same, Adina.
Okay.
I cannot see. It's click to exit full screen, but we cannot see your page.
Same.
Akila.
Can you see it now?
No, it's being loaded.
Okay, maybe it's a network issue.
I think the computer assumes that he has two screens and one of them is showing the presentation, but the other is not. If you could switch the screen, or I don't know if you can right click on the mouse. I don't know if it works.
Or maybe I share the screen, Akila, but you will be saying next slide then.
Yeah, that will be helpful. Please, I stop sharing my screen.
Yes, please. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Albina, for sharing this for me. Actually, I'm not very familiar with Microsoft Teams, and everyone, please excuse me for that delay with the technical issues. So thank you very much, FISU, reaching me and getting me back to FISU Ambassador Program. I was the student representative, like the FISU student ambassador for Sri Lanka like 6 years ago. And I think we were the last batch to be able to come to Kazan for FELA. Yeah, am I correct, Albina? Yeah, so it was a really good time networking with all these student ambassadors from around the world, getting to know people, and even the Mercy Lakisa was there with us that year, if I'm correct. Yeah, I was a track and field athlete who represented Sri Lanka for the Summer Universiade and was a FISU student ambassador. And I graduated as a doctor, and currently I'm working as a lecturer at the Department of Allied Health Sciences at the University of Colombo in Sri Lanka. So the next slide, please. So I will go through a little bit of general principles in nutrition and why sports nutrition is a separate entity and why it is important, and also the main principles of sports nutrition. I would like this to be a bit more interactive. So if anyone can answer questions or whatever it is, if you need to ask anything from me as well, even during the presentation, you can interrupt and ask. Okay, next. So when we talk about nutrition in general, it's very unique from place to place, from country to country, from region to region. But we always say is in generally, we have to have a balanced diet. A balanced diet will consist of different components: the carbohydrates, the proteins, the lipids, the vitamins, the minerals, and everything. However, this we can't share an exact model. Like in Sri Lanka, we have this plate model, which becoming modifications, and this Africa has their own model. And click again. And the United States recently introduced their own this inverse pyramid structure, which focusing more on the meat and poultry and dairy items, reducing a lot of carbs. That is actually because of their focuses. Their communities, their populations were getting more obese, more sedentary, so they wanted to reduce their carbs. But we can't apply the same principle. Albina, please keep on the same slide. We can apply the same principles in all countries because maybe some parts of the Africa or Asia, people are lacking calories. They need calories. They can't just based on meat items. They are not financially stable to afford those stuff. So this has to be tailor-made to country and region. However, they have forgotten, like the all news and everything was focusing on meat items and dairy products, forgetting this half of this pyramid is about vegetables and fruits. They were not talking about that. So if you could go through the guidelines, the exact guideline and the authors, you will see who have funded them, who's behind this. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Next slide. So as I mentioned, this nutrition is different from region to region and also within a region from person to person. It depends on your body composition. It depends on what you want to achieve. It differs from your culture, your food habits, and what is available in your own local community, and of course on your financial status. Next. The one thing I want to highlight is even Alexander mentioned that in general, overall world, the vegetables, fruits, and green leaves consumption is bit low. If anyone can you remember what was the amount that an adult needs to consume per day? It was mentioned in Alexander's presentation. Can anyone tell me what is the amount that you need to consume per day from the vegetables, fruits, and green leaves? Any answers? Any guesses? Okay,
do not see
everyone's
the chat.
silent.
Yes, I do not see the chat.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. What was mentioned in Alexander's presentation was we have to consume at least 400 grams of vegetables, fruits, and green leaves a day. And in generally, what is recommended in made in Sri Lanka, but I think it's same for all countries. You need to have at least five varieties of vegetables, fruits, and green leaves a day. And next slide, please. Even though the world, each countries has different varieties, this is the recommendation, at least 400 grams of these vegetables and fruits. And next slide. It is not satisfactory met. Like even the whole Europe, they don't consume, like in average, it's like 12% of European adults consume 5 types of vegetables and fruits, like even 5 portions a day. Because like the food culture and habits may be based on the Western culture is more about meat and protein rich items, and the Eastern culture is more on carb based ones. So the both cultures, both parts are lacking fruits and vegetables. But that is a main part of our nutrition, because fruits and vegetables are rich in all micronutrients that we need. Even though we always talk about carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids, all the vitamins and minerals and fiber is also very much essential to increase our functionality, and even for athletes to increase the performance. Like if it actually evaluate our athletes, most of the athletes are lacking vitamin D, and they are on supplementary vitamin D, which should not happen if they are taking a lot of, the sources for these micronutrients. Next slide. And the other concept that I want to highlight is we should limit as much as possible about the processed and ultra processed food, because as much as the food is processed from its natural form, it becomes unhealthy, because a lot of preservatives, a lot of chemicals, salt and sugar and everything is added. And if you can see in the last group, the group 4, the ultra processed food are not actually food. They are not natural at all. Nothing is healthy. They will harm your DNA, your cells, and all the organs, causing a wide variety of diseases. That is the main basis for the upcoming NCDs, the non-communicable diseases surge. Next. And at the same time, you should read labels. Can someone tell me what are the things that you have to read in a label if we are buying something from your market, like in packaged food? What are the things that we should read and get into consider when deciding purchasing something as a food? I would like some answers from you all, like.
I'm not sure if they can answer only by using chat, but we really invite you to the chat, dear ambassadors.
Yeah, the expiry date. Exactly. What else? Any other suggestions that you usually want others or our family, or if you are buying something? Components used to create the products. Exactly. The list of ingredients. It is the regulations and the requirements that each packaged food has to mention the ingredient list. And if the list is too long, it's normally very unhealthy, because when the list is getting too long and long, which means they're adding a lot of things, a lot of preservatives and sweeteners, flavors, and everything. And especially with these numbers, the different countries might be using different numbers for different chemicals. If there are a lot of ingredients with a lot of numbers and serial codes, that means that food is very artificial and not good for your health. And the other concept is the more you eat meals cooked at home, the healthier it is. The most healthiest way is eating the thing from natural source and cook by yourself. And because you will have the authority on the way you process it, the way you produce it. So you can make it as healthy as much as possible without relying on someone else's unhealthy food. Okay, so those were the main principles that I want to highlight from general nutrition, and then we'll move to what is specific for sports nutrition. Next slide. The sports nutrition is a bit more focused on from the general nutrition because our athletes are in a higher energy need, and they need more they need more proteins, and the goals are different. And also they need the proper nutrition will help them to enhance their performance, and that will help to reduce injuries and recurrence of injuries, and also that improves your rate of recovery, and overall the athlete will become healthy. Next. And again, when we talk about sports nutrition, we can talk about the concepts and what we have to do and what is generally done, but it has to be very tailor-made. It is very individualized. It has to be decided on several factors. It depends on your age, your gender, your sport, even within your sport, your event, and also the type of training that you are undergoing at the moment. I think you all must be familiar with the training process, which is called periodization. Your year or your half a year has to be divided to several cycles, like macro cycles, mesocycles, and with general preparation, specific preparation, competition, transition. So your nutritional needs and requirements depends on which place you are currently in. Like when you're at a pace where you want to build your muscles, you will need more proteins. But if you are at a competition season, you need more calories. So your nutritional requirements differ from the time and the place of your training and all the other factors. Next. So this has to be an individualized plan when you become more elite and elite. Like still, all these general concepts we can use in planning your own meals. Next. So I'll be talking a bit more on food habits and then a little bit on hydration, body composition, and supplements as well. What matters most in athletes is actually your food habits, because it's the way you eat. It also all the concepts that I explained previously also are relevant for this. And along with them, there are several other things you have to practice as an athlete. Next. Especially what is generally recommended for normal people are 3 main meals and 2 snacks per day. But for an athlete, especially if they're training like 2 training sessions, three training sessions a day, you have to have more meals. It can be from 6 to 12. Yeah, some professional athletes are taking 12 meals a day, but they are not like very large, big meals. They are very divided and concise, planned according to the training sessions. And our training, before training, during training, after training, also what we have to eat is a bit different from one to each other. Okay, next slide. So as I explained earlier, this has to be divided frequent meals because our body, our gastrointestinal system cannot absorb large volumes at once. We have to feed little by little at certain intervals so they can absorb maximally, and that can be utilized. So it can be varied from 6 to 12 meals, and it has to cover targets. Okay, so the carbohydrate targets usually is 6 to 8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. The proteins, it is generally 1.6 grams per kilogram per day. For a normal person, it is like 1 gram per kilogram per day. But for an athlete, because the muscles are always getting traumatized and they had to be repaired, we generally recommend 1.6. But if you are in a hypertrophy phase, you can go up to 2 grams or 2.2 grams per kilogram per day. And these targets has to be covered within planned meals according to your training schedule. Next. So usually what recommended is you have to take a balanced, proper main meal 3 hours prior to your event or your training or your main event. It has to be a balanced diet, which is rich in carbohydrates, protein. And another misconception is athletes only need proteins. No, more than proteins, athletes need carbohydrates. Maybe it is a bit okay to think like that for Western world because they are anyway taking high protein diet with little bit less carbohydrates. But generally, for athletes, what is actually more needed is calories. Mainly, we are taking it from carbohydrates. And another snack is recommended just 1 hour prior to your event or your training, which has to be rich in energy. So you can utilize the calories more faster during your training. You should recommend a piece of a fruit. It could be a banana or a piece of mango, even a few dates, or a small sandwich of whole grain, something like that. And even during the event or during training also, you're supposed to get something small, especially if your training is lasting more than 1 hour. Usually our basic energy sources, the ATPs, the creatine kinase, and the glycogen storages are depleted by the end of 1 hour of like moderate to vigorous training. So we need to replenish. If not, our muscles and muscles will start to destroy. So we need to replenish that energy stores. Usually recommendation is like 30 grams of something small per every hour. Okay, next slide. And after training also, we have now spent everything. We have spent all our calories, our muscles are so, the muscle fibers are damaged. Then we need a meal which is rich in carbohydrates and protein both. Usually what is in people's mind is the post-training, after workout, meal has to be a protein. But yes, protein should be there, but along with that, carbohydrate is also a must because that will help you to replenish your calorie storage. So what is recommended is within 30 minutes, within 30 to 60 minutes post-workout, you take a rich meal rich in carbs and proteins. And that is also better if you are not taking the whole thing at once, but divide it in hourly segments. Next. So our main meals and snacks, everything has to be well balanced, and they have to follow all the concepts that I explained at the beginning of the presentation. They have to be better if they are made freshly and in a healthy way without any processed and ultra processed food, and better if it is home cooked with natural ingredients. And usually our energy intake has to be like 50% from carbohydrates, 25% from proteins, and another 25% from fat. And I actually made a slight difference for this slide. But the Albina is sharing what she has. I'm working in an organization called Young Professionals Alliance for Health, which tries to promote overall health, like to take control, to empower them, and to take control of the determinants of their health. And we have been trying to produce several new recipes which are more easier to make with local ingredients and rich in proteins or rich in carbohydrates, depends on the requirement. And we have used finger millet. It's a locally available grain to replace wheat flour to make cake. So we have been successfully baking cakes without wheat flour using a locally available grain, which is more high in more proteins and more fiber. So you all can be innovative and try your own recipes and produce your own different healthy snacks. So if you are not very much clear about these targets that I mentioned earlier, I mentioned that usually the recommendation is 1.6 grams per kilogram per day of proteins per person for an usual athlete. So if we take the food items, you can see if you are a 50 kilogram athlete, your required protein requirement is 50 into 1.6, which is 80 grams of protein. That doesn't mean if you eat like 80 grams of chicken or beef, your requirement is satisfied. It's not like that, because each food item has their own percentages of proteins. For an example, a boiled egg will have 6 to 7 grams of protein, even though the whole egg is like 50 grams. And like the lean beef, like 85 grams of beef will have like 28 grams of protein only. So you need to have a variety of these protein sources to achieve this 80 grams of protein in your day. In the lower part of this slide, there are given few combinations that you can use. So if you can take 170 grams of chicken, 1.5 cups of rice, 1 cup of spinach, 2 cups of milk, and large boiled egg, that will give you 85 grams of protein. So, and if you are a vegetarian, if you are not taking any animal products, then it's become a bit hard, because you can see the last suggestion, it is only based on vegetarian based items, and you will have to have like 8 slices of whole wheat bread to get like this 32 grams of protein. In contrast, if you can take like 100 grams of beef or chicken, you will have the same amount of proteins without eating 8 slices of whole wheat bread. So that is, so if you are taking vegetarian diet, you will have to have a like variety of food with in bit of larger quantities to cover your protein requirement. So yeah, it has both cons and cons. I'm not going to like discriminate on anything, but usually that is not, I mean, we are not recommending you to eat like 8 slices of bread for that. Okay. Next. And there's another concept called carb loading, which is mostly for endurance athletes who needs a lot of glycogen storage. So 2 to 3 days prior to the competition, you can have like 1.5 times of the normal recommended carbohydrates, which was the 6 to 8 grams per kilogram per day. You can increase that to 8 to 12 grams of kilograms per day for the last 2 to 3 days, just to improve and increase your glycogen storage. And it is usually recommended to use some high glycemic index food so that you can absorb them easily and you can replenish your storages properly. Be just getting you ready, prepared for the competition. Next. The next thing is hydration. You should never get dehydrated, not just during the training or the event, throughout your day. The best indicator is your urine color. Your urine has to be, the early morning void urine color has to be very clear. If it is dark, it means you are dehydrated. It's not just about your water content, but also the electrolytes, the sodium, potassium, chloride, and everything matters. So another indication, another way that you can assess this is you measure your weight pre and post workout and or your event. And if there's a difference in your weight, if it's a weight loss, that means you are dehydrated. If there's at least like 2% of weight loss, that actually significantly reduce your performance. That is what evidence says. So the target replenishment is like 1.5 times of the weight loss. Like you have to hydrate within the 2 to 3 hours after workout. You have to drink. It has to be not just water, if possible, add some salts and minerals like the sodium, potassium. You can use some oral rehydration solutions, and even coconut water, king coconut water is very good for that. Next. And the other thing is the body composition, because different athletes are made of different body types, and it's another huge topic. And the requirement for the particular event or a sport is also different. Like throwing athletes need more power on upper body, but they have to have power in the core and glutes and lower limbs as well. But sprinters doesn't need that much of an upper body composition. They are more on the core and the lower limb. So depends on your sport, your body composition has to be decided, and we have to make our nutritional values targets and our plans based on that. Next. And the next thing will be some bit of highlight the supplements. There are various types of supplements available in the world. It's a separate industry, and there are some evidence, but not like very promising evidence that every athlete has to use supplements at one point. So there are several things you can use: whey proteins, caseins, branched-chain amino acids, creatine, stuff to increase your muscle mass and also to increase the endurance. Then to increase the recovery range, you can use the caffeine, beta-alanines, and sodium bicarbs and other electrolytes. So that also has to be decided like individually after assessing each athlete, what are their requirements and what is lacking in their diet actually. Next slide. Because supplements are not really essential. What we should focus first is optimizing our diet and our food habits. Like if you are not eating properly, if you are not taking proper protein-rich diets to the required level, and if you are not taking carbs enough, it's no point talking about supplements. First, we have to optimize your diet and your food habits, and then see, and if still, if some elements are lacking, then we can go to the supplements, especially when you are at very elite level or Olympic athletes or somewhere there. Because these supplements are very artificial and they are like drugs or medicine. They have some adverse effects on our gastrointestinal system. And also the scary part is these are not 100% well regulated. They might be containing prohibited substances like prohibited by World Anti-Doping Agency. Sometimes they don't even declare these substances inside these supplements. We don't know. And some regional ones, like in the locally manufactured one, there can be cross contamination that you will never know how you get a doping drug inside yourself unless you are being tested positive, until you are being tested positive for doping. So better stay away from artificial and unnecessary trouble and try to be more natural and optimize your diet first, and then see and take proper medical advice and guidance before going into any supplement. Also, you can take the fruits and vegetables will always help with your micronutrients, and for the coffee will also help if you need some caffeine to boost your workout or anything. Next slide. And I wanted to highlight there are multiple tactics used by the supplement industry. They always will manipulate science. They will produce false evidence that their supplement is the best supplement, and they are using a lot of influence and lifestyle marketing in the Instagram, in the TikTok, and everywhere. They're trying to promote their products, and even the ingredient list is not very explanatory. As the example given, it's a proprietary blend. It just mentions some things. It's some extract from something, just without mentioning exactly what chemical and what is there. So you will never know. And also they are promoting stacking protocols, like the different supplement for different purpose. Like for recovery, it's pre-workout something, recovery is this, post-workout with this. And they try to highlight there's an anabolic window period, like just after workout within 30 to 60 minutes, that is anabolic window. And they try to promote that you can't be cooking meals just within 30 minutes after your workout, so you have to have a supplement. Those are their tricks. That is not exactly needed always. You can have your meal prepared before your workout and just have it after your workout. So be mindful, like these industries, and they are not really in your interest. They will just try to gain profit out of them. So the best thing is optimize your diet. There are a lot of natural elements that you can gain, complete your all nutrition. Depends on your local availability. Like the tropical countries have different fauna and different available ingredients. The Europe, the Americas, the Africas, they have their own things. You can just search and get expert opinion on that even. So try to optimize your nutrition and try to optimize the timing, because timing is also important. How you replenish your stores, how you spend your energy stores, everything matters. So that is very individualized subject, but with general principles that you can incorporate into your life. If you are an athlete, even if you are not an athlete, if you are active, if you are just working out, you are a recreational player, all these concepts can be utilized to stay healthy. Next, I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Akila. I couldn't stop listening and tracking all the slides. I think we have a raised hand by Will Smith. Please unmute yourself. Can you do that, Will? Yes. And then the one from Stuart, the next one. I unmuted you, Will. And I unmuted Stuart. Please, any of you ask your questions.
Thank you so much, Albina, and thank you so much, Doctor, for the wonderful presentation. It was such an insightful one, and especially for me, who is in that field of study, medicine and surgery, and for someone who wants to specialize in sports and exercise medicine, I feel like this is something which is, something I can relate to. So I have two questions. One, I'm inquiring about how I can access this presentation, especially because I know there's a recording, but then this particular presentation, if you can have the PowerPoint or something, where we can access it. Then two, is there any way we can contact the presenter if it's okay with him? Thank you.
I will answer the first
Yeah,
question, is that we will send PDF version of both presentations confirmed with the speakers with mundane use, and the recording will be on FISU TV next week as well. And for the second part, I let Akila answer.
yeah, I have shared my email in the chat. You can always contact me through that if there's anything, and for anything. Like I'm also like an early career professional, and I just started working at my university as a lecturer. So always there's scope to even collaborations or whatever it's needed. I will lend whatever support I need, and I'm actually grateful for the FISU ambassador program for the opportunities. And it was I joined this program when I was in my fourth year in medical school, and then now have become a lecturer at the same medical faculty. And this helped me a lot, like even the student ambassadorship and the recognition FISU gave me, that helped me a lot.
Thank you, Akila. Do you
And
see
I think there are two.
Yeah, do you
Yeah,
see the
yeah,
questions? Can you read them?
Yeah. So first question is, what kind of advice do you recommend for athletes in explosive sports during competition days? So yeah, as I mentioned, your nutritional requirements differ from the period, like what place you are now currently in, like general preparation, specific preparation, or your competition days. During competition, what is actually needed is your energy storage. So you can use this carb loading as well, but that is more recommended for endurance athletes. But even for explosive athletes, what is more needed is the energy source. And your training will more focus on generating power, like explosiveness, not just like enduring things. And the other thing is your hydration. You has to be properly hydrated throughout. You should never get dehydrated. And also, this is not like nutrition is not like separate entity. It's a part of your health. It's part of you. And what the other things that helps is your recovery with proper sleep, very timely sleep. At least 7-8 hours of sleep is very much needed for athletes. And with regard to nutrition, it's mainly calories. You can use all natural calories available to store inside you to explosively use it in your sport during the event. And what recommendations do you give for general hypertrophy without supplements? Yeah. So for generating hypertrophy, it's a combination of nutrition with your proper exercise planning. That also has to come into play. So that's a separate entity with sports science and training. The hypertrophy, there are several principles for hypertrophy, which you have to do more slow kind of eccentric loading to your muscles with like 8 to 12 reps of 3-6 in targeting different muscle groups, or if you want to isolate their muscle. And along with that, you need to have your protein sources, protein requirements met. Like as I mentioned in my presentation, you can go up to like 2.2 grams 2.2 grams per kg per day of protein requirement if you're at a hypertrophy phase. So you need to get more of protein. And another thing I have to mention is the protein source. Even though that is mentioned as different protein sources have different amounts, our intestine, our gut system cannot absorb everything that is given. But eggs has the 100% bioavailability. Eggs are the best thing to gain proteins, not from the quantity wise, but quality wise, and also as the absorption wise, you can absorb more protein from eggs than any other protein source. So that is also helpful. So you have to plan your meals, and you have to calculate the protein requirement and accordingly, you have to plan your meals and get. So more proteins just after your workout will also help. So generate your muscles and hypertrophy. I hope that
Akila,
helps. And
yes, there was a raised hand by Leo from China. I unmuted you. Please ask your question, Leo.
Hi, Albina. Can you hear me?
Yes.
First, I want to say thank you, Pro, and I mean my dear FISU student ambassador friend. Thanks for your presentation. And I have a question that what kind of food can help me stay healthy and also help me stay alert and energetic?
so yeah, Leo. So I there's no like a hard and fast like 100% true answer for that, because I, as mentioned earlier, like the meal what you eat depends of 1,000 factors, and the whatever available locally is the best. Like it depends on your food habits, your culture, and because with that your food habits and culture, your genes and everything evolves. Like some people can tolerate a lot of things, like even you, I mean, the raw meat and stuff also, like even sushi. Like some people can't tolerate that. So it depends on your gut, your genes, your culture, your food habits. So the general recommend, the principle is the natural things are the best. So avoid processed, ultra processed stuff and things that have added a lot of chemicals, preservatives, flavors, sweetness. Be natural. Try to explore things whatever available in your local environment, because you don't have to be dependent on some other country for food. You need to be food, your food security has to be secured, as well as Alexander mentioned this in his presentation. So you have to develop your own community. You have to search and explore what is best for yourself with whatever available in your local community, like even within a country. I think that's different, like especially with the big countries like Russia, China, India. There's a huge variation in food habits and everything. So we have to tailor made, depends on our community and everything. So keep in mind the general principles. Be natural, stay away from processed and ultra processed food. Read labels so you know exactly what you are eating. Always try for home cooked meals, and you are safe.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Because I think diet is a very important part of. I mean, I think staying alert and staying energetic. It is a. I should build a system, and dieting is a very important part of the system. Thank you. Thank you for your answer.
Exactly.
Thank you, Akila. If Alexander has questions to Akila, you can unmute yourself and ask questions. And I saw the question that we missed from Terence from Kenya before. Maybe you answer it, Akila. Like, what do you recommend for mind burnout among mind sport players? Like something that keeps you more focused if you're doing the mind sport and mind activities.
Yeah, that's a very specific kind of question, actually. Even for your brain activity, calories are needed, calories help. And there are ways to keep your focus, especially it's not for everyone. The caffeine, we all know that caffeine helps, the coffee helps in some people to stay focused. But some people can't tolerate caffeine. Like there are several, like a dose, a titration has to be done. So caffeine can help with boosting your mood and keeping it elevated and motivated. So what is recommended is because you can develop tolerance to caffeine. So we don't recommend using caffeine or coffee for long time. So you can try and see if it works. Like just before your sport or anything, you try with get some caffeine and see if it works. And if it works, just keep it for the competitions. Don't use it every time. If you use it every time, you develop tolerance and it will not be effective afterwards. So coffee is a natural thing that you can use. And for some people, some high calorie things, like even a small piece of chocolate, like a real chocolate, can help. And the other principles for the same.
Thank you, Akila. I will be now finishing the session as we are close to the end of it. Let me ask a question. As Alexander, he mentioned that at his university, University of Algarve, they have this nutrition counseling services. Do you have or do you plan to do something like this at the University of Colombo?
Yeah, yes, actually, we have a center for sports and exercise medicine, which provides multiple services. It actually more focused on the injury prevention and management, but at the same time, we provide services for recovery and nutritional counseling and everything as well. But it's evolving. Like we are trying to develop it more focus and more. So yeah, so I think I can get some. I did get some inputs from Alexandra as well. And I just want to add just one thing. The concept of health is vast, and at the current world, the food habits and nutrition is one of the biggest things. And along with that, there are another few determinants: the physical activity or inactivity, and the substances like tobacco and alcohol. So this everything has to be come together when we are talking about holistic well-being and health. Not just, I mean, not it's not just for the adults; it's for athletes and students and everyone. So the organization I just mentioned in my presentation, the Young Professionals Alliance for Health, we try to address all these issues with university students, with young professionals, everything. So yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Well, I would even like show this presentation to my kids, like to the teenagers, saying that 6-12 meals that would really make them happy. But I mean, all the tips and all the tables that both of the speakers they showed us, I think it's very useful. So let me finish this session by saying thank you to both of the speakers and to Ms. Penina, the Vice President of FISU, welcoming us here. I should just mention to all the audience watching us now live and also who will watch us at FISU TV from next week, this recording, is that the first speaker, Alexander, comes from Portugal, and I also see in the session Nuno Miguel Rodriguez, also who we contacted before for the help for these presentations. Thank you so much for being at this meeting with us. And Fado, the NUSF of Portugal, always supports the FISU Student Ambassadors Program and the Healthy Campus activities and all FISU-related activities, having the current president of the Federation, our FISU Student Ambassador, and the Vice President of the Federation, Thomas, as our current ambassador. So it's a very good connection. And speaking about SLUSA, the Sri Lankan University Sports Association, also thank you so much, Akila, even coming from 2019, a batch of the FISU Student Ambassadors still contributing for this session as a speaker. And I know that Sri Lankan ambassadors also have their chats, keeping in touch with each other. I think it's very important to provide this support to the new ambassadors and to all the students in the audience. Let me just remind you that the application process for the next next season of Ambassadors Program is open. Please check whether your federations uploaded their candidates or it might be you for the second term. And I very much like that you shared your email address and you ask questions to each other, because these these horizontal connections, when you just speak to one another as speakers or as the FISU Student Ambassadors to students, is something that makes our program special. Thank you so much for this, and saying thank you, very many thanks to the speakers. We end this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Albino.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening.